So I was wondering about it, but I think there are degrees of realities that appearing well. In the beginning, it may be appearing well, but not so well yet. But it's helpful if Ajahn can elaborate a little on it.
When there's no understanding of what is there at all, can it appear well?
No, no, Ajahn, no.
But when there's some understanding about it, it depends on conditions, whether at that moment it can be a moment of being aware of a reality, a characteristic, which we have heard as it is. Hardness cannot be anything, favorable thing, but it's only that which is hard at moment when it appears only. This is the beginning with understanding to understand that which is there right now, but from no understanding at all to be a little understanding of that it is now appearing, but it cannot be taken for anything because it's just that as it is experienced. So the matter is only whether there is understanding of that which is now appearing or not, because usually there is something appearing, no attention, no awareness. We just think about it in different ways, like it's something soft or too hard to chew or something like that. But actually, the truth is that it cannot be anything when it appears well as it is, as just hardness and how hard it is, different for each moment.
Sound is appearing, Ajahn, but immediately I think of the words that you are speaking. So I cannot say it.
Until not just thinking of the word, but it's there. So right understanding begins to develop little by little, not just to think about it, but it's there as it is, as it is. So when it does not appear, usually we still think about it. But when there is the understanding of that appears only when it is experienced. When it's not experienced, it cannot appear. So now we think about hardness, but no understanding of the characteristic which is hard because we are thinking about what we are talking about. So hardness at that moment, which is touch, does not appear as clear as it is, as nothing at all, only hardness as itself is there to be known. But now, can it appear so well when we are talking and thinking about other things and hardness is there? But not as it is, as no things around at all. When it appears well, nothing can be with it at all.
But it depends on panya. And when there is no panya, it's really very hard to get all that you are explaining now.
But it can be now, because when we're talking about hardness, there is hardness, but it's not as clear, but begin to pay attention, or attention is there. Or we can say just when there is right understanding, there must be awareness. Otherwise, when it is touched and appear, no understanding, so it cannot appear well, so it cannot be awareness, direct awareness. It's only attention, a little attention to that object. And whatever is there is so very, very short, and then it's gone. And the other thought comes in directly instead. So it cannot appear as well as when it is the object of awareness directly with understanding. Even it's so very short, but it's the beginning of the difference between awareness and no awareness. Because even right now, there's touching, no awareness. So how can there be the understanding of it? As nothing is there, only hardness is there. So what we mean by appear well, it is the beginning of being aware directly of hardness. But it does not appear as well as when panya detached from taking it for something as usual. And little by little, there can be letting go of the idea of something which is touch. It's only that. And how can there be the understanding of whether it's developing or not when there is letting go of that with understanding of that? Because other reality appears instantly, one after one. So there can be awareness of another characteristic which is not heard right now. When Panya develops and is so skillful enough to understand any object as it is. For example, is there any moment of direct awareness and understanding, the characteristic of seeing? But it's there. So, what about the understanding of hardness, whether there is more understanding, letting go the other idea about whatever is there, no matter hardness or some other object? Everything arises and falls away so very rapidly. So, it depends on understanding of that as it is, that it doesn't matter at all as long as Panya cannot understand the characteristic of no self, but it depends on conditions from understanding more and more, very skillful level of intellectual understanding. It can condition unexpectedly a moment of being aware directly of a reality, even it's so short, but it's there, different from other moments. So one can understand what is meant by parami and kanti and so on. It has to be the moment of being directly aware with understanding of that object as it is only when it appears. That's all. And they can be thinking even while touching because no one can stop conditions for thinking to arise, to think about it. But later on, little by little, there can be more understanding and letting go other idea about that. And there can be a little more understanding of the truth that it's only a reality. It takes quite a long, long time to have less thought about other things while touching or seeing. But there can be the beginning of understanding the difference between just thinking about it in words, or at that moment, there can be some moment of understanding that which is there. Even it's not clear yet, but it is different from just talking about it and thinking about the story, the words, the terms, but attending to that characteristic. And when Panya is more, it can understand the difference between the beginning of, and when it has developed to that degree, little by little, so natural like now. So the understanding must be at moment when what is there as object, not just thinking about the arising and falling away or whatever is there, ayatana and so on, but what about that which is now appearing as it is? To begin to understand the truth, it cannot be flower or anything because it's only that which is seen, but not only one single moment, many, many moments to form up the idea of shape and form and things around from day to day, on and on, until Panya can understand that what is seen, gone instantly, but it does not appear as that. That's why it's not yet the Ariya Satya, but the truth which can be directly experienced is that it's not there. Because just one reality at a time, it appears so well because no other object around and understanding begin to understand it, not just thinking about it. Even thinking is there. There can be the understanding of thinking. That's why everything in life which hasn't been known yet will be the object of understanding directly, little by little. Right now, just as it is, but not yet, because it depends on panya, right understanding, understanding the truth of that which experiences. We don't have to call it the seeing or the hearing or the thinking, but it's that which sees right now, a reality. It experiences the word because it arises and performs its function as it appears now. Understand seeing when they're seeing. Understand visual object when it's there as the object. Understand sound when it's there, and understand hearing, the experiencing. No matter the object is sound or word or visual object or smell, that reality arises and experience only one characteristic of a reality, that it arises to experience, the chief of experience, even the very subtle different characteristic of object. It's there, it performs that function. Otherwise, how can the other cetasika arising with it to like or dislike, for example? Each one is as it is, never change, but cannot be the same one, no, just once in samsara. Seeing now is not seeing a moment ago, or just the previous moment of seeing, or appear as nimitta, not as it is, but beginning to understand that it is not what we used to take it for something or I at all, because it's gone completely, each one, very short. Otherwise, it can be directly experienced easily. The truth is hidden for eons and eons ago. So it cannot appear as it is instantly. But when Panya understands little by little, it let go the idea of something and taking whatever it is easier in life, because actually it's gone, everything. Whatever is the object of like or dislike, no more. What is left is only memory about it. Only in this life, no memory of last life. So next life, no memory of this life. What is there now is just only a moment in samsara. So when there is more understanding of what it is as not anything, it can be a moment of paying attention or beginning to be aware, and right understanding is there, but so very weak in the beginning. It can be a moment of doubt about anything, and when there is more study, the moment of sikha of that object, trisika of that object, it can begin to be an object which appear a little clearer, until it can appear only one by one, no other reality mixed or being around at all. So we understand what's meant by appear well only to Panya. And when
Ajahn,
there is awareness directly of that object, it begins to appear a little more well, because it's different from moment when there's no direct awareness of it.
mostly, Ajahn, I think it's attention and thinking. But as you say, it doesn't matter, because if it matters, it shows the clinging that we want to know.
So it can be understood whether how much understanding of the object is when there is understanding of that object at the moment when what we say attention or awareness. So very close, because attention is manasikara cetasika, right considering, wise considering. See, it's a condition for understanding of that object, no matter in words, intellectual understanding, or the moment of patipati, and for sure, moment of pativeda. So we just use the term, but we cannot directly pinpoint the function of each cetasika arising together. Because when direct awareness doesn't show up clearly, it can be attention beginning and then it develops into awareness with understanding.
Yes.